Hey everyone, welcome to another University of Windsor Students Take Initiative workshop. My name is Ahmed Rashid. I'm a VP academic at UWSI, and at the time of this recording, I've just finished the second year of my biomedical sciences degree. Before we begin, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what our organization does. We're a university association aimed at helping students attain fulfilling careers. We host a series of workshops and events on topics that are essential for high school students to succeed. All of us were in your position not too long ago, so we would really like to help you and share our personal experiences. Today's workshop is going to be on the importance of experiential learning. And before we start this session, I'd like to go over the learning goals. By the end of this presentation, I hope that you learn what experiential learning is and how it differs from classroom learning, how experiences can help develop your skills, the importance of experience versus grades, the different types of experiences available, and how you can go and find and seek out these experiences. So what is experiential learning? Experiential learning, by definition, is a process by which knowledge is created through the transformation of experience. And what that really means is that it's a process where you learn by doing an activity rather than passively reading about it or listening to someone explain the topic. In experiential learning, because you're actively learning, your mind is more engaged and you're more likely to learn and understand new things. Experiential learning is a constant cycle of taking action, reflecting on the experience, learning more, and then taking action once again. By doing this, we get better at completing tasks, we improve our understanding, and become more well-rounded. This also helps us develop skills that we can't learn from books. I think Confucius summed up pretty well what I was saying before. He said, I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. And what that means is that by actively doing something, we use all of our senses and our mind is constantly engaged by our actions so that we're able to better understand and remember what we did. But why is experiential learning so important? To answer this question, I'd like you to take a couple of seconds to think about a couple of events in your life that really left a strong impact on you. They helped you grow, or they inspired you, or they changed the way you think. I'm sure we can all think of a couple of experiences like that off the top of our heads. A time when we worked really hard and succeeded in our goals, or a time when we tried but failed, a time when someone we knew got really sick. It can even be something really simple like a time when you travel to a different country. But now, what if I asked you to think of a couple of lectures or some classroom lessons that really changed you, that affected you like that? It's not as easy, is it? And it all goes back to the fact that we remember and learn from our experiences better than we learn from books or lectures. In fact, we've learned many things through experiential learning, though you just might not realize it, like riding a bike or learning to speak your native tongue, even learning to walk as a little toddler. You don't learn these things by first reading a book about how to do those things. You just try, you fail, and you keep trying again and again until you get getting better outcomes until you've got the skill down pat. Now, I want to take you back for a moment to the cycle of experiential learning. If you think about it, you can probably remember several instances of experiential learning in your classroom. A great example of this is doing chemistry labs. You can only learn so much by reading a textbook, but actively learning by doing experiments helps cement your understanding. This is why teachers plan and set up labs for students. On the other hand, there are also some classes that have very little hands-on learning, like take math for example. So if you were to think of it as a Venn diagram, there are some courses like chemistry and physics that have both classroom textbook learning and also hands-on experiential learning. There are also some courses like math that have very little hands-on learning and are almost entirely textbook learning. But what people often miss, and something that I also missed when I was in high school, is that there are some things that can only be learned through experiences and you can't really learn them in the classroom. And that's things like communication, teamwork, and leadership. Essentially, it's your skills. There isn't a course that will teach you these skills, and the best way to develop them is through a variety of experiences. Earlier, I explained why experiences are so important for you. Experiences leave a greater impact on you than classroom learning. They engage all your senses and are easier to remember than lectures. They allow you to apply the theory you learn in a classroom. And most importantly, experience helps build skills that can't be learned from a textbook. But you should know that skills and experience are not just important to you, but they're also important to employers, universities, colleges. Pretty much anyone that wants to vet an applicant is interested in your experiences that are going to set you apart from others. Even if you want to apply for a scholarship, for example, many are going to ask you to write an essay or a paragraph about an experience that you've had. If you want to apply for a job or an internship, they'll want to know what experiences you have and what skills you've developed through those experiences. And this is because when you have a job, you're not going to be writing tests for a living. You have to be able to apply your knowledge and work in a team. So they want to know that you have these necessary skills. But most important of all is that experiences and skills are also required if you want to get more experience and skills in the future. Because what happens is, as you move forward in life, you're going to find many valuable opportunities to gain experience and build skills that you want to take advantage of. But to do that, you'll have to submit an application which is going to ask you about the skills and experiences you already have. So it's like a cycle. To gain more experience and further develop your skills, you need to already have some experience and skills beforehand. That's why I really encourage students to get started now and not to fall behind. Even myself, I'm in the Outstanding Scholars Program, and it's a program that allows me to do work with a professor and do research while getting paid. It's a really valuable experience that helps me build my skills, learn more about the field I'm in, and apply my knowledge. But when I applied to this program that's giving me this experience, I was asked all sorts of questions about my previous experiences and skills. So, in order to take advantage of opportunities in the future, I really encourage all of you to start getting involved in building your skills today. On the same note, I want to talk about a common misconception that people have regarding grades, which is that some people believe that grades are the only thing that matters. They are the be-all and end-all. But that's not really the case. Grades are often used as cutoffs, but your overall experiences are more important after that, because applicants are often asked to discuss their experiences in applications and interviews. And what I mean by that is let's say you're applying for a scholarship and the cutoff grade is 80%. If you have less than an 80% average, your application won't be considered. But if you have above that, then it doesn't matter that much whether you have an 81% or a 91%. Sure, it might matter a little, but really your experiences are going to matter a lot more after you've beat that cutoff. And in that regard, your experience is almost as important as your grades. The way I like to think about it is that grades are your ticket to the race, but experience is what gets you across the finish line. Because if you don't have decent grades or good enough grades for what you're applying for, you can't even compete. But if your grades are above the cutoff, then simply having higher grades than other people is not going to be enough for you. It won't get you the job or the scholarship or the acceptance letter into a prestigious university program. What's going to make you successful after that cutoff are your experiences and your skills. And I really can't stress this point enough because I know a lot of people have this misconception. When I was in high school, I also believed the same myth that grades were the only thing that mattered. And this is because my family immigrated to Canada from Pakistan. And when I was in high school, my parents told me that I shouldn't waste time on extracurriculars and that I should just focus on my studies. This advice would have been really useful in Pakistan and in other similar countries where your grades and exam scores control what school and what program you can get into. But here in Canada, your experiences are just as important. Without strong experiences, good grades alone cannot get you into competitive positions. Now, we've been talking a lot about experiences, so you might be wondering, well, what kind of experiences are there available for me? And there are many different types of experiences. Each one is valuable and beneficial in its own way, and some of the examples that we're going to be covering today are volunteering, internship and co-op, and jobs. So to start off, Volunteer positions are usually, they are always unpaid and usually involves assisting an organization with their work. This can take the form of helping with the organization's daily activities or organizing community events like fundraisers. Volunteering is really great because you get to help the community and build a connection to it at the same time, which helps give you a sense of purpose and fulfillment. On applications, it also shows that you have good character traits, such as you are motivated by things other than money, that you have a positive mindset, and that you're a great team player. If you're looking to get into volunteer work and want to find a volunteer position, a great place to start looking is EDSB. Your teachers and guidance counselors will usually post about local events and opportunities on your announcements channel. And other than that, you can also look to your local organizations, such as school clubs, public libraries, and religious institutions like mosques and churches, which tend to do a lot of charity work. And one thing I want you all to remember is that there's always something for everyone. Even for someone like me who did very few extracurriculars in school and didn't focus on developing my skills, I was a tutor for 3 years at my high school because I was academically strong. So there's no such thing as, being underqualified for everything. There's always something available for you out there. You just have to go out and find it. The second type of experience we're going to be talking about today is internships and co-ops, which allow you to get work-related training in a field or industry of your interest. So an example of this might be that if you're studying chemistry and you want to work in a related field in the future, you might do an internship in a lab where you can learn various lab skills and procedures. And this allows you to try out a career and see what it's really like, because when you're in school, you're just learning from books and lectures and writing tests, and that's not really indicative of what doing the job itself is going to be like for you. So it lets you try that out and see if you're really interested in it. Co-op positions are usually paid and full-time, whereas internships are usually unpaid and are part-time. If you're looking to get involved in this kind of work, you can ask instructors who teach these related courses if they have any opportunities they know of. And you can also look on online websites like LinkedIn to see what businesses in your local area are offering. Lastly, we're going to be talking about jobs. And jobs are great because, first of all, you get paid, and who doesn't like a little extra money? But it's also great on your application because it shows that you can handle responsibility and that you've built up these vital skills like time management, teamwork, and communication that are necessary for almost every job. And if you're looking to find employment, one thing you can do is look at your local businesses. And another thing I would really recommend to you guys is the Youth Job Connection at the New Canadian Centre for Excellence. And I've listed the link here. This is a really good initiative that I really wish I'd known of when I was in high school. What they do is they provide training workshops where you can develop skills and receive assistance in finding a job. So they train you, they give you some experience, and they help you build your skills, and you get paid for that training. And then after that, they also help you find a job. So it's really beneficial, and you guys should definitely check it out. So that's it for the content of today's workshop. To recap, we learned today about experiential learning and how it differs from classroom learning. We learned about how experiences can help you develop your skills. We talked about the importance of experience versus grades. You learned about the different types of experiences and how to find and seek out new experiences. But what I didn't cover today is how to actually apply for these positions once you've found them. How do you apply for a job? How do you write a scholarship application? How do you take advantage of the experience and skills that you've gained when you're going and writing these applications? These questions and more are going to be answered in the part 2 of this workshop, Experiential Learning 2, Taking Advantage of Your Experiences. And you can see the exact topics that we're going to be covering are what the application process is like, how to write a strong professional resume, how to present yourself in interviews, how to answer interview questions and talk about your experiences, and where you can find resources to improve your resume and interview skills. That's the end of this workshop. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us and ask. The email will be in the bottom right corner once my camera is off. And be sure to check out our social media where we post information about our new workshops and other valuable resources for you. Thank you once again for joining us.